Welcome to the Spiritualist Sanctuary, a podcast on spirituality to awaken your soul, tap into your intuition, and step into your divine self. Welcome to the Spiritualist Sanctuary. I'm your host, Jennifer, and on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about kicking that little thing called fear and ego to the curb to boost your psychic abilities and open the third eye. Fear and ego are two primary obstacles in the path of spiritual development, and both of them hold you back from attaining self-awareness and enlightenment. Fear doesn't have to be surface level, and chances are you have deeply rooted fears in your subconscious that you're not even aware of. The fear can be of change, the unknown, rejection, failure, death, having a lack of something. Fears inhibit you from taking the leap of faith and surrendering to the divine. You'll build barriers around yourself, resisting new experiences and understanding of anything outside of your perception and comfort zone. You get attached to your physicalities, your emotions, and it limits the version of yourself, that higher self, which is where your understanding of your eternal self lies. Fear also brings discomforts like anxiety and stress, which just act as a distraction, making it difficult to focus on spiritual practices. I don't know about you, but when I'm stressed, I tend to really close myself off from everyone and everything. I don't do any spiritual work. I just shut down. Now, ego stands in the way of accepting the concept of universal oneness. How does ego do this? Well, ego is an illusionary self-identification that binds you to the materialistic aspects of life, causing you to think you are separate from others and the universe. It creates a false sense of superiority and inferiority. It leads to desires, envy, hate, and dissatisfaction. This ego consciousness makes it difficult for anybody to accept and realize their true divine nature. It will 100% hinder your ability to experience selflessness, compassion, love, and peace. Ego will also create conflict and judgment towards spiritual beliefs and practices. So, how do fear and ego correlate? Because ego is usually fear based. The fear based ego exists in the corner of your consciousness. It clouds your thoughts with insecurities and doubts, worries. It tricks you into thinking you're less, that you're incapable and not worthy. It thrives on negative self talk, judgments, comparisons, and defensiveness. It maintains its grip on us through our fears of rejection, loss, failure, change, and even death. It is so important to be aware that you will encounter judgment from others. Whether you identify as a psychic or not, society often misunderstands or dismisses spiritual practices and abilities that go beyond the realm of the physical senses. As a result, it's common for people to judge those who openly embrace their intuitive gifts or seek to develop them. These judgments come from people who don't understand or believe in the power of intuition. They may view your interest as strange or irrational. They might even dismiss your abilities or say it's just coincidence or your imagination. These things can make you feel isolated and hesitant to share your experiences or seek guidance in your journey. However, it is important to remember that judgment is often a reflection of the person who's judging, rather than a reflection of your own truth and experiences. Many people fear what they don't understand, and their judgment may stem from their own insecurities or lack of knowledge about spirituality and intuition. Instead of allowing judgment to discourage you, embrace your unique path and continue to explore your gifts with confidence. Instead of allowing judgment to discourage you, embrace your unique path and continue to explore your spiritual gifts with confidence. Surround yourself with a supportive community of like minded people who understand and validate your experiences. Seek out mentors or spiritual teachers who can guide you and provide you with the support that you need. And on that note, I want to tell you guys I do host a weekly healing circle. For now, they are free. So head over to the Patreon, to the Healing Sanctuary, and fill out the form to get your weekly reminders. So, your intuitive abilities, they're a part of who you are. They are a beautiful gift that can bring deep insight and understanding to your life. Embrace them. Trust your own experiences and don't let judgment of others hold you back from embracing your true potential. There is a fear of judgment if you are a people pleaser because you fear they may get mad or they won't talk to you, or when you feel like you have to explain yourself because you fear people talking bad about you or spreading untrue words. All these fears have a deeper rooted issue than just being fearful of judgment. Once you get to the issue, once you put in the work and figure it out, you can name that baggage and release it. Wish it well and good riddance. And this is the process of releasing all habits that no longer serve you. I used to be a big people pleaser. I would water myself down around people to make them feel important and superior. And my reasoning was I'm a healer. I have always been a magnet for the wounded and the broken. And I felt it was my job to always fix people. So by making them feel more important and special, I felt like I was helping. But you know what was actually happening? I was blocking my blessings. I was telling the universe that I was less than what I actually thought I was. And at the end of the day, I was attracting relationships that weren't accepting of the abundant Jen. They only wanted the watered down version of Jen. Remember the saying, misery loves company. Well, as an empath, your light is so bright and magnetic that you attract these people that need the vibration to survive. The minute they drain you of all that beautiful light, you are disposable, leaving you with all the pieces to pick up to make you feel whole again. This cycle is hard to break because you may have to cut off people that don't even understand why you're cutting them off. They don't even realize that there isn't an equal exchange of energy and that they are leeching all of your energy. I have tried to keep relationships with people like this because I care about them deeply and I will keep them at a distance, but sometimes just engaging in text can lower your vibrations. Sometimes just by seeing a post might lower your vibration. You can love someone and love them from a distance. Judgment can also take form as anger towards other people or yourself. Maybe someone wronged you or offended you. Their action angered you, which at the core of it is an evaluated judgment on your part. Emotions are judgments of how you think an action should make you feel. You can't control how people act, but you can control your actions. At the end, judgment is a lack of love towards yourself and others. Learn to embrace the darkness with compassion. If you repress the negative energy, you will spiral down into more negativity. When the negative state of mind visits you, meditate or do affirmations. When we feel fear, say, my loving gods or power of the universe, please take this feeling in your loving light and release its hold on me. Or you can just say cancel, cancel, cancel. Physically tapping your chest is also a great thing to do in unison with an affirmation, or when you say cancel, you may also physically swipe your center as if you're shooing away the feeling. Now let's talk about comparison. It is the thief of joy, guys, period. It is so easy for us to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others. We see someone else's success, their seemingly perfect life or their spiritual achievements. Say, you're a beginner and you really want to be that psychic that sits on stage and does readings. We can't help but to compare ourselves to other people. It is human nature, and this comparison can quickly rob you of your joy and diminish your self-worth. When we compare ourselves to others, we are essentially telling ourselves that we're not good enough as we are. We focus on what we lack or what we perceive as a shortcoming rather than celebrating our own unique journey and accomplishment. This constant comparison leads to self-doubt, dissatisfaction, and a sense of never being enough. But the truth is, we are all on different paths and have unique gifts to offer the world. Each of us are on our own spiritual journey, and there is no right or wrong way to navigate it. Instead of comparing yourself to others, let's shift your focus inward and celebrate your own progress and growth. You don't know what karmic debt these individuals may have already paid in this life or even their past lives. You don't know what they have gone through to get where they are today. When we release the need to compare ourselves to others, we open ourselves up to a world of self-acceptance, to self-love and joy, happiness. We can embrace our own unique path and recognize that our worth is not defined by an external factor or other people's opinions. You deserve to experience the fullness and beauty of your unique spiritual path. For many of us, the ego is a constant companion that we've grown accustomed to, right? It's the voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that you should compare yourself to other people, and that you need to constantly prove your worth. Ego is pushy and it tells you you have to be right. And if someone does you wrong, maybe it tells you that you have to teach them a lesson. You have to have the last word, or that you need to always be better. You need to be the best. And ego is also what tells you to be fearful. Fear of missing out, fear of failure. This voice, this ego, it's not who you truly are. There is a way to break free from its hold and discover your true self. Practice self-awareness. Acknowledge the presence of ego and become more aware of its influence in your life. Recognizing this can help you manage its effects. It's important to recognize that ego is not who you are, but it's rather a construct that we've grown accustomed to. By bringing your attention to this voice in your head, you can start to understand its patterns and how it affects your thoughts, emotions, and actions. By becoming aware of this ego, you can observe the negative thoughts as they generate and become aware and consciously choose to let go of these ego-driven tendencies and instead focus on your higher self. Open-mindedness allows you to challenge your preconceptions and invite new perspective into your life. It means being willing to consider ideas and thoughts that may be different from your own and letting go of the stubbornness attached to your belief. By challenging your preconceptions, you open yourself up to new possibilities and insights. You begin to see the world in a different light and understand that there are multiple ways of looking at any given situation. This will only enrich your own perspective, but also it will allow you to connect more deeply with others. Open-mindedness also requires us to let go of the need to be right or have all the answers. It means embracing a sense of curiosity and wonder, always seeking to learn and expand your understanding. The willingness to be open allows you to transcend the limitation of your ego and connect more fully to your higher self. Accepting the world as it is instead of how you want it to be. Avoid blaming others and consider your part in issues too. When we embrace acceptance, we free ourselves from this chains of frustration, anger, and resistance that our ego often creates. Acceptance means letting go of the need for control and surrendering to the flow of life. It's about understanding that you cannot change everything and everyone around us to fit your desire. Instead, you learn to find peace and contentment in the present moment, embracing the beauty and perfections of the world. Avoiding blame is another aspect of acceptance. Blaming others for your circumstances only reinforces that your ego needs to be right and victimizes yourself. Instead, you take responsibility for your own part in any issue or challenge. Examine your actions and choices. Learn from them, grow from them, and move forward with a greater understanding. Use compassion. When we cultivate acceptance, we recognize that everyone is on their own unique journey. They're facing their own struggles and challenges. And by accepting others as they are, we foster a connection of empathy, breaking down the barriers created by ego. Stay connected with people around you instead of isolating yourself. By staying open and empathetic, you will break down barriers created by ego. When you isolate yourself, we often feed on ego's narrative that we are separate and disconnected from others. But the truth is, we are all interconnected, and by fostering your connections with people, you open yourself up to new perspective and experiences. When we stay open and empathetic, we allow ourselves to truly listen and understand others' viewpoints. The openness helps us break through the limitations of our own ego driven thoughts and embrace the diversity of human experiences. When we connect with others, we truly create a space of love and compassion to thrive. Overcoming fear and ego pretty much go hand in hand. One feeds the other. Now, this doesn't mean eliminating fear or ego completely, but learning to understand and control them. Moving beyond their limitations towards the understanding of your true spiritual nature. Ego holds you together in a pattern that you consider to be yourself. Too much ego leads to heavy sense of self, and too little ego leads to no boundaries and helplessness. And both are unbalanced. A healthy ego knows when to let go and when to hold on. Learn to know your ego so you can identify when it is serving you well or leading you wrong. Fear-based ego is usually a programmed survival instinct that will lead you wrong. It distorts perception and breeds paranoia. Letting go will release a lot of worry, arrogance, anger, and blame we carry in our hearts. You can use the same technique I mentioned earlier about the chest tapping. You can say cancel, 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 or you can use affirmations. There are other techniques I do as well. One thing I have learned is to never react on a feeling. This took me a long time to learn. Acting on a feeling is so easy. It's just the easiest thing to do, right? Take a few hours or days to reflect on the situation and pray for guidance, and you will come out knowing exactly what to do. When a problem arises, take a minute. Take some cleansing breaths. Imagine the divine energy filling your body. Ask for patience, peace, and strength to deal with the problem. This is a great time to chest tap. Do not blame yourself or the other person. Do not point fingers. Do nothing. Wait for guidance. Repeat affirmations or the one I mentioned earlier about the universal power taking away your feeling into their loving light. If you feel someone has done you wrong, bless them. Send them pink loving light or golden healing light. This sets up a positive psychic current to get rid of the problem. If it is a feeling or lack of something, immediately affirm with whatever it is you're lacking is already mine throughout the power of the divine working in, through, and around me. So Let's say your bank account is in the negative. Okay? Money is already mine throughout the power of the divine working in, through, and around me. When you want to release a negative feeling or thought, imagine putting it into a suitcase. Imagine putting the suitcase down somewhere, a bus stop, in the middle of the forest, whatever comes to you. Now, in your mind's eye, see yourself walking away from this suitcase. And in your mind's eye, see the suitcase getting smaller and smaller as you walk away until you can't see it anymore. You can also write down things you wish to release and then burn the paper. I usually harness the full moon energy to do this, but you can do it at any time. Remember, every problem is a lesson. Listen and learn. And remember to always, always give gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes we have fears subconsciously that we are not even aware of, and ego based tendencies that we never noticed. These will eventually make you feel lost, like you're in a hamster wheel. You will feel stagnant and just stuck. When you start to feel this way and start to feel you don't know where life is going, commit to some shadow work or journaling. This allows you to gain perspective and challenge any limiting beliefs or negative feelings. And that is all I have for you today, guys. Don't forget, leave a comment, take the poll, rate this episode, be love, give love and light, and live right. Blessed be.